Welcome back to the Cinema So Far podcast, the podcast where good friends talk about great cinema. As always, I'm your host, James, and we have our sweet summer child, Sydney.
What up? I'm your sweet summer child here, coming to you live.
Yes, and we have our resident maester, Travis.
Yes, hello, welcome. I'm glad to be here.
How long can you keep that accent up, I wonder?
Please.
Through the whole show.
We'll test you on that. So today we are covering House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 3, titled Second of His Name.
Second of his name, third of the series.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
All right, so this was an episode that... I don't know. It's got to be my favorite so far. I don't know what you guys thought. Maybe you're kind of lost. I was a little bit lost when I watched it the first time. Took me a few watches, but what did you guys think?
I mean, I watched it, like you did, like years ago. Watched it again the other day. Had to start it again tonight. Just to what? What happened? Oh my God.
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff.
I did watch it a couple times as well. A little confused, but... this is also my favorite episode so far. The time jump confused me in the beginning, but we're like 3 years jumped ahead, right?
Yes, they didn't say it. Like, no one spelled it out, but it was like, okay, you're supposed to do the math of 2-year-old birthday party. You know, it takes a while, 9 months, 2 years. So yeah, about 3 years. So they didn't really spell it out, but yeah, that's what you're supposed to take.
And she's pregnant again, like very pregnant.
Do you guys remember what the first scene was?
Yeah. The crabs. The guy nailed to the post getting picked alive by crabs.
He had crabs.
He did. He had a crab problem. I don't know if you guys have like this sick sense of humor like I do, but I busted out laughing when I heard the guy. He's nailed to the stake, and he's like, "Save me, Prince Damon!" Oh, and he gets smashed.
Your mom's
laughing.
a whore.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if I would be talking that much trash when someone, is about to feed me to crabs, but I guess he had nothing to lose. So
yeah. I'll just be
deep.
launching whatever I had at him.
Yeah, that scene was cool. That was like the first time we were really like seeing a dragon, fighting in a war, right?
So this first scene is also 3 years ahead, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
same time
so.
frame.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's a little like confusing, right? But yeah, it's 3 years later. The war is still going on, and they said that in the show, like, it's happening. But yeah, we basically go from that scene of the war happening in the Stepstones.
Yeah, the start of it.
Yeah, and it's, to me, that's probably it's my least favorite part. I don't know. The war stuff is cool. Don't get me wrong. Like especially that scene at the end. Like that
Did
scene.
you like that?
Dude, that scene where Damon is like carrying, half of that dude's corpse. That was so metal.
The
Looked like an
entrails.
album cover.
He slayed like 30 people.
He did.
Right, like faked them out with the flag and the sword, and then just proceeded to, kick their ass.
Yes. And I don't know. I had kind of a problem with that a little bit. I just felt like why are they putting so many archers right there?
Look,
Why are they making this last so long? Like the dude didn't get hit. I mean, he got hit towards the end. But...
at that range, I don't know how many games you've played, but at that range, at that point, you just have to have a lot of archers because you can't necessarily hit that target with the crude bows they had at the back in these days, right? They didn't have compound bows that we have now. They're just bow.
Okay. Okay.
So you gotta throw a lot of paint at the wall, right? You just gotta.
Okay. All right, you're making more sense to me now, because I just felt like, man, like they're just laying it on a little thick, but still, this scene was dope, and Damon was really proving himself, and we'll get there, but I just felt like that was a really cool part,
Right.
So Damon is kind of like the Joffrey of this season.
Well, yeah, I mean, I consider him like the bad boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's the
okay.
bad boy of this time. Not really doing what he's supposed to, because he wasn't even supposed to start that war.
Right.
But he's doing it because he wants to prove his worth.
Okay.
He can't become king. He can only go so high as far as like status unless he becomes like a war hero.
Okay, that's why they were
Right.
saying, "Oh, only a madman would like go into this." And he
Yeah.
was like rowing out there.
He's like, that's me.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah. So going back to earlier in the episode, another part that I just really loved was, they're at the birthday party for little
Another name's
Aegon.
day.
Yeah, another name's day, and everyone's like talking about the baby and how cute he is, and Viserys is like, "Where is Rhaenyra? Where is she at?" And she's outside listening to her favorite song on repeat.
Yes, I told that to my cousin, like, this is the medieval way to, like, when I play a song all day and I'm just like, it's on repeat. She just, again.
We've
I wish
all
I had
been there.
I wish I had a personal lute player under a tree.
And his hands all cramping up
Shaking
from playing it
his
so
hand.
many times.
But wouldn't you like to hear another song that I know?
Nope. Same song.
From the top.
And don't talk again.
And the queen is just like, listen, get out of here. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine her just getting overpowered by
Overriding her.
Yeah, I mean, they used to be tight, and now she's pregnant with her dad's baby again.
Yep. She's her mom. She's her stepmom.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was like a weird like power off, right? Like that's a weird beef to have. But that was interesting. Just a little bit of not trivia, but just a little bit of background on the song that was being played. It's about like this warrior princess from the past. And so that's like her favorite song, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Which makes sense. And I also noticed that she's like reading books now. Like, before she was kind of like, whatever with that. But I think she's taking her duties seriously at this point and studying, hitting the books.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So that was cool. And I don't know, like that's just a weird dynamic to have your best friend marry your dad.
Well, I mean,
become your
even back
stepmom.
when they were, remember in the previous episode, she was quizzing her on it, and then she was like, I don't really care, blah, blah, blah. And then when she was like, you don't even take this seriously, she just, like she does, and she's just tired of the bullshit, the pomp and circumstance of it all.
Yeah, like she was smart enough to know it, but she knew it back then. She was paying attention or whatever, but now I feel like she's really on it, like she's trying harder. So that's the way it seemed anyway. We'll see. We'll see as the episodes go on. But yeah, what did you think about the beef that they have going? Like, you feel like, you and your best friend could kind of like get over that? You feel like they're gonna get over it?
No.
No.
No. Absolutely not. To be knocked up by your best friend, to be knocked up by your dad?
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't think so. And to rule over the princess, she's the queen now.
Mm-hmm.
And sending her lute player away, that's it. We're over.
She
Boss
unplugged
move.
her iPod, like,
Yeah.
pulled the headphones out.
Threw it out the window.
I feel so bad for Rhaenyra
Yeah.
and her just being constantly reminded of her place.
Her
So,
role, your
yeah,
role in this like system that we
forcing her to be married. Which am I right in this? They're trying to get Rhaenyra
yeah.
married to the 2-year-old baby.
That's what Otto was
Yes,
saying, and I'm thinking,
yes.
like, what the hell
That
is wrong with you,
that
Otto?
is one
Like,
of the schemes to
yeah,
keep the bloodline pure. Remember, to keep the bloodline pure, you have to have incest, which is weird.
That is crazy.
but that's how they did things back. Not like in our history or anything.
Right, that's
but
what I
like
was thinking too,
Targaryens back in the day, they would always be doing that. They're always marrying their sister or their cousin or whatever, just so, like Travis said, so they keep the bloodline really pure. But I mean, it's got to go wrong at some point.
It's funny to think that as being pure, like,
yeah, that's how they thought back then.
it's weird.
Yikes.
Yeah, or
Since
that's
you
how they think
mentioned
Westeros.
Yeah, since you mentioned the intro too, I paid more attention to the intro and all the blood running down the line and it kind of merging together, or I thought that was a cool observation.
Yeah, it's like telling a story, but you gotta like you gotta do a whole bunch of research to figure out what it's trying to tell you.
Well, we're
I
with
didn't
an
take the time.
expert here.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but
I'm just kidding.
but yeah. So if we go back to that birthday party, his name's day. There were some other like comical parts I thought, but they were kind of low key. Like another part that really made me laugh was how the older ladies are sitting there talking about the war and talking about how this is what should happen and this is what should Damon should do and blah blah blah. And Rhaenyra was just like, I mean, what are you doing? You're just sitting around eating cake. Right?
Oh my god, I was
Sick
laughing.
burn.
It was such a sick burn. And then the other guy, Lawrence from what is his name? Lawrence Strong, the guy with the club foot. He sit there and he heard that line. And he's just like, he just like eating his cookie, like, got you.
Gotti.
Yeah. But I don't know. That I like just when everyone's sitting around talking. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but that kind of like political intrigue is my favorite part.
The medieval gossip.
Anything else on like the party or any of that stuff before we move on?
Nah, they move on to the carriage ride, right? Right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Her just being pregnant, like getting jumbled around in the carriage ride, and then it just being so awkward when they were looking at each other like, oh, the first baby came with no fuss, and I don't know, the help or the maids were just looking at each other. I was
Yeah.
wondering why they were just like looking at each other. Like,
I felt like they were like, I wouldn't say that to her.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the carriage ride was pretty awkward.
Very.
And then they get to the party and it becomes even more awkward. Viserys is just getting drunk. He's just getting wasted.
Hammered.
And so hammered. And everyone's kind of like just looking at it like, let's see what happens here. But people are coming up to him and just like pitching, hey, here's what I think should happen with the queen, or here's who he should marry or who she should marry, or here's what should happen. And I don't know, it's just making him drink even more.
Yeah, he's drowning his sorrows
Right.
in the mead wine.
Yeah. And then he's just straight up laughs at Otto when he suggests that Rhaenyra marry her 2-year-old brother.
Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck?
How does that work?
But he would have He would have married that 12-year-old though. So he's just as fucked up. If he didn't marry Allison, he would have married the 12-year-old.
Well, but that's the thing is he didn't want to. Like that apparently was the right thing to do in the sense of like, you know,
I guess given
duty as a king or whatever.
One or the other, I can see that.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I think everyone was kind of, not everyone was pissed, but everyone was shocked that he married Allison. You know, but
oh wait, you're saying the right thing to do is marry the 12-year-old?
I'm saying in their eyes, like to Otto, to all of the lords, whatever.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not saying that.
The name strong, Targaryen.
I get what you're saying.
Like you're like born into this awkward system, and you eventually have to just like, this is, like you said, this is my duty as a Targaryen to continue our strength as a house. This is what we do. And whether you agree with it or not, it's like you have to adapt and become okay with it. And it's like, but I don't want to be okay with it. That's what Rhaenyra is going through. I don't want to be okay with it. It's not, this is weird.
Yeah. It's like when you're in those positions, you have arranged marriages no matter what. Like someone is telling you this is the best person to marry, so you're going to marry them. And so that's why I think later on it was such a touching moment and such a shock to Rhaenyra that her dad was kind of like, you know what? You just marry whoever you want. I'm not gonna even push it. Just go ahead and you find someone that you like and marry, because that's just not how it was done. You know.
I wonder if it's gonna be Sir Kristen Cole.
Ooh, I was gonna ask who you think she's gonna marry.
Yeah.
You're like, I'd jump right on
Kristen,
that. Right?
Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
Christian?
Kristen.
I have no idea.
That
in the last episode, Damien called him Crispin just to mess with him.
Oh, when he followed her into the woods and then saved her from that giant hog.
Yeah, this is a different giant hog than we saw in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
I was gonna say, what giant hog?
the hog with the tusks.
Yeah,
right. Just came out of the bushes.
That was gnarly.
And she was all bloody coming back in, and they were all giving her dirty looks.
Except for one of the Strong boys, the son of Lord Strong. He was looking at her like, damn, that's what's up. Like he was into it. And everyone else was like, ooh, she's
I
got
guess
blood on her.
y'all know who she's gonna marry. Do you remember? Don't say it, but
I do. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember who she's gonna marry, but I remember some things that I don't want to say. So.
But yeah, so that was a really interesting scene. I didn't expect her to go and stay out all night and then hunt a boar, and then she actually saw the White Hart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The White Hart walked up to her. What do you guys think was going on there? Like, does that mean anything? Was it just a coincidence? What do you guys think?
I think it absolutely means something. The white deer is very significant. That's what they were looking for. At first, I thought they were searching for her, but then no, they're hunting, and then they captured that deer, and I think that's just very symbolic. I don't know why yet, but it is very symbolic.
Yeah, it's almost like she's the chosen one, I guess. I think that's what's kind of like it's meant to be. But yeah, they were out hunting. Speaking of hunting, let me ask you guys a question. Would you let the king wipe his poop hand on you? Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, fuck no.
So they find like the deer poop in the forest, like, oh, it's it's around here somewhere, and it's like it's kind of fresh, and the king, he like takes off his glove, grabs it and he's like mushing it in his hand. He's like, yeah, it is fresh, And then he just, pats Otto on the on his chest, like, all right, good show. Let's get out of here.
Otto deserves it after his proposal.
I didn't know that.
For real. I'm just like, I don't care who you are. I'm not letting you wipe your poop hand on me.
I'm saying the way this is all depicted, I mean, it's like you do whatever you're told, like in this time.
I guess, but I'm not a hunter, obviously, so maybe that's a thing. Let us know in the comments.
Bro,
if you're out hunting, are you picking up poop and smooshing it in your hands?
It's an
just
honor
so you
to have poop wiped on you.
Yeah, is that giving you some kind of information that helps you hunt?
Well, if it's from the White Heart.
This does remind me of something.
Mm.
Have y'all seen that lady that makes art out of moose turds?
Okay, no.
And she makes
we have different feeds. We have different algorithms going on.
I saw it on Tosh.0 several years ago, and she makes the clocks that goes 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 out of the moose turds.
Damn.
The things that are out there.
Damn.
She tries to sell this shit too.
That's how to get
sell
banned from
this shit. No pun intended.
Yeah, really. Oh my god. All right. Yeah, I just thought that was just, I don't know. I don't know how loyal. I don't know how loyal you need to be to let someone just wipe poop on your shoulder, but
I don't like anybody that much.
Yeah. But speaking of who is Leal, I love that word. I'm gonna try to keep using it every episode.
What does that mean?
It means loyal. Remember? That's from the last episode.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Word
Leal.
of the day.
Yes. Word of the show. But the one that's super Leal is Lord Strong, who if you recall, Viserys is he's so tired of hearing everyone, politicking or whatever. And he, Lord Strong walks up and is like, hey, if you want my opinion, I'll give it to you. And he's like, oh, let me guess. You want Rhaenyra to marry your son? And he's like, no, actually. I advised you for her, for you to marry, I can't remember her name. Lenore? The 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I advised that, but now that it's Rhaenyra, I advise that she marry the older brother.
His name is Lenore.
Oh yeah, that's right. His name's Lenore. Yeah. So I think Viserys was like, okay, respect. You're giving me some good advice. There's some Leal. This is Leal AF.
I mean,
let us know in the comments how many times James say Leal.
Yeah,
count.
Keep it tally.
Leal count. I love it.
And before him was, the other gentleman. Oh man,
yeah,
Jason. Lord Lannister wishes to marry.
Jason Lannister.
And like how he keeps proposing it in such a direct way, but it's kind of funny.
It's scuzzy, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's like, I'm gonna get a dragon pit, and she's like, why? Why do you need a dragon pit? Oh, you'll see.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What is happening? What is
such
happening
a
right
dude,
now?
bro. Anyway. Yeah, so then so let's see. We talked about him going into the forest to get this.
They take off because of that.
Yeah.
Because, Dad, quit trying to arrange this shit. Like, that's all you see me as, that was the whole argument, just her this is like I'm just here to be proverbially married off.
Yeah. She's bummed on it. I mean, she's very independent and wants to do her own thing. So, that's how Targaryens are.
Was he saying Rhaenyra was supposed to be his way out or his golden child or something? I don't remember.
You mean like when they were at the bonfire?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that scene because I think what he was saying is that, he had this dream that he had a son with a crown, that was
Mhm.
the king. But and he wanted that to happen so bad that he ended up, letting his wife die
Uh-huh.
to get it.
Yeah.
And, but then he named Rhaenyra so that way Daemon didn't become king. And he was really wondering if that was the right thing to do. And he's really, I think that's why he's been drinking so hard. He's really distraught over that. But now he has a son. And so he's just really wondering if he did the right thing. He can't tell if that was supposed to be his son that he saw in his dream. And so he's just really confused by that. So I thought that was like a really touching and thought-provoking scene.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. But, what wasn't touching, what was kind of pathetic was him killing that deer. That was the most pathetic hunt I've
rough.
ever seen. Yeah.
That was rough. But it was showing that like he's getting weaker, like he's not who he was.
And did you guys notice that he's like missing 2 fingers now?
I didn't see that, but he's had
No.
tetanus for 3 years, so
Yeah, you remember how like his fingers, they were like kind of jacked up and they were putting them in the maggots? Well, they're gone now. So
Okay,
I
the
think it
glove.
was, yeah, it's just his gloves kind of, dangling those fingers around. And I think that's why his killing stroke wasn't that good. It's kind of hard for him.
I guess those
Oh,
maggots didn't do much.
no, it
It's
did not work.
Not the best medicine.
Again,
Still
sir, a
lost
little
those
to the
fingers.
left.
Yeah. And then everyone's clapping right after. It just felt gross.
It was very weird.
But Rhaenyra, she did some hunting of her own and, brought back some pork for the barbecue.
Yeah, a few extra stab holes.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Yeah.
How long was she out there for? A night and a
The
day?
night.
Just the night, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because like this party's going on for a couple of days, but
Okay.
yeah, she walked back in like a G, and everyone took notice. But
Why did Damon go berserk on the messenger?
okay, yeah, I didn't really understand that until this watch, so it took me a few watches to get it. But so what I think it was is that they're fighting this war for 3 years, and the crown, the king hasn't helped this entire time because it wasn't his choice to start the war. He wanted to stay out of it. Well, because Daemon and the Sea Snake, they went to go start this war, they were losing because the crab feeder and all those people, the triarchy, they kept like fighting but then hiding back in the caves and then fighting and then hiding in the caves. And it was just, it's too difficult of a strategy for them to like actually be defeated. So they're losing, Daemon and them, they're all losing. And they're talking about that up there on that hill, when they're looking at the map, or not the map, but the table, and they got their little figurines and stuff.
And like this uncle is like getting pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. His brother's getting pissed. But what the brother did was write a letter to Prince Viserys, basically saying, help, we're losing. It's time for you guys to help. And that's the letter that Viserys had on the table when him and his wife are talking right by the fire. And there's that letter, and she reads it. And in that scene is where you see that gnarly like orgy tapestry in the background on the wall.
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
Both times.
Wild. You
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah, so check that out, guys. Whenever you go back and watch the episode, they got some straight up porn on the wall.
Okay.
But So anyway, so King Viserys, he says, okay, I'm going to send a bunch of ships and a bunch of men to go and help and win. Daemon got pissed at that because his whole point is he wants to do this himself. He wants the glory. So he's like pissed off that his brother's going to like bail him out.
Right.
I don't think he should have like beat the crap out of the messenger, but that's why he did it.
Nobody has rational reactions at this time period.
Yeah. Yeah. He wouldn't be a bad boy if he just said, okay.
I guess the crabbers are a thing. I mean, they were talking about the crabbers in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Were they talking about these crabbers?
I don't think
Like
so.
like the ones that eat you to death, that pick you to death?
No, this is the crab feeder. So he's feeding everyone the crabs. The other ones that they were talking about, they're just fishing for crabs. They're just crab fishermen.
They're just crabbers. What even led to this guy? A lot of these things we don't really know because it's just made up.
No, they didn't explain any of
like,
it.
why is this guy? Why is he got a face mask on? Why does he look like what he does?
Okay,
what the hell has
so
happened so far? What we don't know yet. Maybe or maybe we're not. We'll figure out in the future.
I mean, he's dead now, so I don't think we're gonna figure it out. But I might as well just mention. So do you guys know what grayscale is?
No.
It's like
Okay.
eczema.
It's like the most wicked eczema ever.
Right.
It's like eczema with leprosy or something. Because this is like in Westeros, when you get this disease called grayscale, it turns your skin like all, scaly, and you end up dying from it. You end up like going crazy and dying from it. And so he has that, and that's why his head's all jacked up. I think that's why he's wearing the mask.
Right.
Whoa, I'd never heard of that. I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah, and it'll come up in Game of Thrones. I think it might just be too early for you to know what that is yet. But yeah, so there's that, and then we get that gnarly fight.
In the epic battle.
Yeah. Which let me ask you another little bit of trivia. I don't expect you guys to know this, but when Daemon is handing over his sword, do you know that sword has a name, and do you know what the name of it is? Like, what would you name it, or what would be a cool sword name?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Without me just remembering another sword.
Ragnar.
Ragnar.
Yeah.
The Bone Breaker.
His sword's called Dark Sister.
Dark Sister.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the Kingslayer. That's something else.
Yeah, it is something else.
Sword.
Yeah, and so that sword he uses, like you said, Sydney, he went through like 30 dudes, getting to the crab feeder.
This epic battle at the end of this was brutal. I really loved A Night of the Seven Kingdoms battle. My eyes kind of glaze over usually during battle, but this one was crazy.
It was wild.
Yeah. And then, they were using another dragon, which I'm not sure if you guys, I don't know if you caught on, but the guy that was riding that dragon is who they're proposing Rhaenyra marries.
Okay.
He's on the dragon like woohoo, which I didn't like. I didn't like that woohoo or woo or whatever he said.
Yippee!
Yeah, that was not his coolest moment, but I don't know. That was still a really cool part. And then the very end, again, I thought it just looked like an album cover, with Daemon walking out of the cave with half of a crab feeder that he's hanging on to.
Damn. Yeah, crawling out of his mouth and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
There's blood all over.
It's crazy. Each one of these episodes is like a movie, basically. Sans 30 minutes. The production is wild. I always think about that. Like, seasons of this, all these people doing this for seasons,
Right.
It's not just one movie, it's years and years of production.
Yeah. And it's a lot. It's kind of a lot to do. And so yeah, a lot of money put into it, a lot of effort, and all I can say is it keeps getting better. I think that the show just gets better and better, and more money gets into it, and higher production value. So can't wait for you to see the next episodes.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. Any final thoughts, fellas?
Final thought for me is, I mean, it gets juicy. It keeps getting juicier and juicier as the the tensions kind of get raised, and the drama just gets even more messy as it goes on. So just can't wait for that.
Give me that
Yeah.
juice.
And
Give me
like you
that
said,
juice.
that, I mean, even the cinematography is really great in this season. I mean, a lot of really good close-up shots, and even kind of like one take close-ups, moving the action around in the battle. I mean, I forgot all about the battle, honestly, until I watched it again today, and it was kind of like, holy crap, that was crazy. So even it lived through. I've already seen it once, forgot it, saw it again. Wow, that was like a really good battle.
It's all
Very
new
cool.
again.
I always like to hear your perspective on the camera aspect, Travis, because I know that's your forte. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, great sound design too.
mhm.
With the dragons and
Well, what I was going to say earlier about the dragons, I remember now, was the okay, the fact that, like, okay, obviously, when you have dragons, it's very hard to lose power, right? Because the dragons are so damn powerful. Just flying in and roasting everybody, like, it's just so funny to watch. They just get charbroiled on the cliff, like you can't do anything. You're just gonna get
Bye-bye.
burnt.
Mhm.
You can't run. And he just grabs a couple guys, like, doesn't even know if they're on the same team or not. Just like
Yeah,
he like
yeah.
throws.
He's burning some of their squad
Oh,
too.
of course.
And
Like,
speaking of running, in the first scene, did you guys notice how like there's these two guys running, and then the dragon breathes fire, and all that's left is their legs? Did you
they
see
just
that?
get evaporated.
Yeah, like it's hot.
Oh my god. It's
Yeah,
just hilarious.
go back and watch that first scene. It's really
Okay.
funny, actually.
What if their legs kept running like chickens with their heads cut off?
It did for a little bit. It was so funny because that's what happened.
Well, dang. I guess we'll leave you with that. Yeah? Y'all
Yeah.
good? All right. Well, thank you for joining us for season 1, episode 3 for House of the Dragon. If you like that, please like and subscribe and drop a 5-star review wherever you're listening. We really appreciate it, and it helps us out a whole lot. We're excited to cover season 1 and 2 of House of the Dragon before season 3 premieres in June, streaming on HBO Max.
Mhm.
So we hope to see you next week. And that's a wrap on tonight's episode of Cinema
Cinema
So
So
Far.